and we know, now I'm going to spend about 10 minutes critiquing this. What have we been missing? What should we also be looking at? Today we do. Today we incorporate, a much more holistic perspective. So what we have been missing came to us starting around the 1980s. There was a lot of, because of the ferment in the field of social sciences, there was a lot of criticism of Western imported, exported theories. Because, first of all, they were not going very well in settings like India and other places where the conditions were very different. Am I making that noise? We are going to put this category of studies or theories under interpretive theories of communication. Communication is to build commonness. And one aspect of that is for me to transfer information to you, but it's much more than that. Communication is a dynamic interaction between two or more participants. Remember, we want to build commonness. So communication is a very dynamic give and take between actors, 2 or 3 or 4. Not just passive transfer of information. Okay? So these earlier theories they criticized said these theories and models took a very narrow view of communication. They also took a very, very narrow view of health. What is health? Now all of us should be concerned because we all are in a human body, unless on these Hollywood films, you're actually a werewolf. At 6 o'clock you become a wolf. We're all human beings, right? So we all have health. We all have a body. Okay? Health. There is a difference between two concepts. I'm going to introduce two concepts to you now. Health is one, the other is well-being. Okay? Before I say that. But in the Western systems of medicine, which is prominent in what we do today, which has come to us from the West, health is defined very narrowly. Health is the absence of illness. That's all. That's health. Oh, you're not feeling well? It just so happens I have amoxicillin 250. You want one? You'll be fine. I'll also got strong ibuprofen for you. Okay. And gone, headache gone. I'm happy, I'm healthy. Health, good health is more than that. Well-being is a holistic concept that takes the quantitative indicators of the material status of your health. Your body's paining here, paining there, your temperature is too high, but there is much more. Rather than sitting here and spending the next 40 minutes trying to describe this for you, I will give you some examples. Probably that's in an interview done in Central America when an ordinary peasant who has never been 5 miles near a school was asked the question, what do you think of development? Who do you think in your village is the most underdeveloped person? You might think this peasant will vote no. He said immediately, pat came the reply. He said the most underdeveloped person is the person with no friends. Now you sit down and over a favorite cup of coffee, think about that. There's much more to life than just good health. Yes, we all want good health. But we also want a functioning family, a functional family, relationships. Not just relationships with human beings, relationships with nature. I've got a bad headache. One choice, take ibuprofen. Other choice, go for a walk on campus in the night. Just the clean air, green trees, I feel better. The problem is, modernization has made us human beings walk more and more and more away from nature. And we are willingly following like a bunch of sheep, And now today's kids, their whole world is in this damn screen. That's what is happening, okay? That is for another day. So I want to come back here. And so basically now is that health itself. Now how do you measure aspects of health like friendship, harmonious relationship? These are qualitative aspects. Okay, so you still have to measure them. Suddenly you realize that, especially in areas like health, what can be more personal to you than your health? Is there anything more personal to you than your health? That's another one to think over your favorite cup of coffee. Okay? So these are important things. Again, you need to broaden health. Now, if you broaden health to well-being, not only the doctor with the MBBS and DCH and HCD and 4CD, whatever, and you both, he is very good or she is very good in the technical aspects. You need to take this medicine, that medicine, this level is too high, this level. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. I don't know. Yeah, you say so, yeah. But at the end of the day, doctor, it's my body. It's my damn body. Don't you think I know something about my body? I've got living in this body for many years. So we do have things to say. In fact, now the latest thing is medical doctors lack communication skills. Those doctors with good communication skills are better doctors. They've also showed that higher the specialization of the doctor, lower are his or her communication abilities. Specialist you go, he treats you like a cow. Oh, take here, and then suddenly he'll pull out something, stick one here, stick one there. And then walks away. What am I? Am I a buffalo or something? I've got a name, hello, how are you today? So anyway, that was not part of the lecture today, I just got carried away. And communication was reserved for the transfer of information only. Now what are we talking about now? This is a field where you can expand this, okay? How do ordinary people talk about health? How does our family deal with health and bad health? Okay, our community. We're not talking of technical aspects that can only be learned in a medical school. Okay, what are the important health indicators in our community? Okay, what are the important, for example, in United States now, the major health epidemic today is not part of the program. People are taking overdoses of opioids, and people are dying by millions. It's a crisis. Millions with overdoses of heroin, fentanyl, all illegal drugs are coming, and okay. So, what are the problems? What are the health problems? All right. We need a communication situation, not just for health, for anything. We say we need a public place where the public can gather to talk about public issues. That's what democracy is. Democracy is not going and putting one vote every few years. Active agency of the public and of course the government, and being involved in issues. Be involved in issues. Don't say, oh, that's politics, dirty politics. No. You be involved. Bring action. If there's something you don't like, something happening on campus you don't like, okay? You need to come together as a student group. You have to act on it. That is how change happens. Same way with health. What are the health problems? okay? Now I've lived in Mysore, I've come on sabbatical, I used to live in Mysore. Let me give you some examples. When people walk around, by the way, I've lived in America for 38 years. I've lived in India for 30 years. No, I'm not that old. I've lived in India for 28 years, somewhere there. When I walk around in Mysore, people, both men and women, they walk around, this guy in front of me, oh my God, he's definitely going to spit on me. But actually the poor guy, he just looked at me. Who is this white dude behind me? And then he spat on the ground. So, for me I started thinking, why do people spit like that? What is the problem? Until after 10 days in Mysore, one day I went I cannot spit in US even if I want to. That's why I guess people don't. By the way, US has other problems. I'm not saying US is heaven. Just this example. Why? I spit in Mysore because there is stuff in my throat. There is no stuff in my throat in USA. And you know how bad that stuff is. You know what I'm talking about, okay? Where does it come from? Magic? Where does it come from? It comes from the air I breathe. And where do I go? I don't go to some contaminated sites and all that, go sniffing everything. I am just walking in the gullies of my, just going to market, picking bananas, coming milk, Dandini milk, that's all I'm doing. Air quality is bad. Air quality is bad. So if I had a community association in Jalakshmipuram, I would really go early to the meeting and put on the agenda, why do people keep burning things in Mysore? I believe they burn everywhere. Huh? It was partly my fault. I said, what is the problem? So actually one day I went and asked one person, I said, why do you do that? Yakri martega? So that fellow said, sir, if I don't do that, nobody is going to pick that up. I have to do it. See, so now health, every time they burn, it is not benign. I'm not going to scare you guys. That smoke is not benign. Please, if you can put a handkerchief, please put, because the carbon particles in a smoke are so small that they will go into the innermost parts of your lungs and cannot come out. So, our municipalities maybe should do more work. So keeping Swachh Bharat is not just you and me sweeping and Swachh Bharat is more than that. Municipalities doing their job, trash being picked up so that people don't have to burn. Health is a holistic concept. It's not always a technical thing. So we can say there are a lot of health problems in our community. Too much of burning. How can we bring this to the notice of our authorities? Something else. So this is what we need, active agency of the people. And this requires a different kind of communication, and that is called participatory communication. In a participatory communication, you don't have SMCR in a straight line. You have a situation more like a circular model where there is an interchange of messages and ideas and so on. It is more participatory, right? And that is how communication should be. Next problem, I can do that. So that is basically okay, so I'm going to end with this. Participatory communication is better suited to bring commonness, to bring actors together through participation, through understanding, through empathy, okay? And communication is more than just information transfer. And also health is something that needs to be problematized, and the agenda for what are the things that our society must be looking at in terms of health. People need to be also involved. And so, basically then, today, we have in any postgraduate program, we offer both the quantitative and the qualitative aspects. That's one thing. Qualitative methodology are good for dealing with those kinds of research where the information or the variables we are working with are qualitative, in the sense that feelings, emotions, relationships, they cannot be described or should not be described with numbers. Quantitative, on the other hand, is used for other kinds of research where you collect quantitative data and look for relationships. So both have a place, and what I want to do we have the other PowerPoint, or shall I work on this one? I want to stop this and I want to move to another PowerPoint. The second one. Do you have it saved, or shall I open it here? Yes. Yeah, that one. Can you please open that? I can control from here? Yes. Or where do I point? Like that? Same. There. Okay, what I want to do here, I'm kind of abrupt because of sake of time. I want to bring it more into mass media and communication technology, which is probably a little more interesting to the electronic media students. And so I've given you now a broad idea of some of the major models and theories we have used. One looking at change in a certain way, another time looking at change in a certain way. Now let us look at specifically at how technologies have been used in development. And when we say technology, I'm talking of information and communication technology, ICT. And these days in United Nations literature and other literature, this body of work is called ICT4D. As you can see on the first line, it is said as information communication technologies for development. This became very popular. That actually my second sentence is not actually correct. Not in the new millennium. It became popular for the new media, the digital media in the new millennium, but radio and TV predate. So it did become very popular. We just looked at it in the earlier slide, the mass media, 50s, 60s, 70s, radio and TV, okay? But with the coming of the new media, starting in the 1990s, 1990s was a transformative period in human history, okay? That is when some of the major technologies, that bedrock technology today were born at that time. What are the two? Internet is one. What's the second? On which everything rests. Google is a service company. World Wide Web. That's how we can attach, make a tag of things and www. Anyway, so since the 1990s, you can actually, the two worlds that separate the 1990 separates are so different. Digital technologies have become very popular. When we talk digital technologies, we are talking about our laptops and our internets and later on our smartphones and all that. So ICTs, so we're going to now specifically talk about ICTs. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay. Is this the one? Yeah, that's the one. When we use the term ICT, a lot of people think it's only digital communication technology. It's not. All electronic media also come under ICTs, and radio and TV are electronic media. And radio came in the 1920s, and television came, the technology of television came in the 1940s. So it's pretty old, older than you can, so communication technology. So we use both the legacy media, radio and TV are called legacy media, and we also use the new media and call them as ICTs. And so I don't have, I had marked all of this, but because of some technology problems I'm having, I won't be able to give you the definition as in the book, but I can do that right now. Here is, by the way, this is my book, Communication for Development. This is the third edition, which came out in 2015. Yeah. This is the book that the professor was talking about. Information and communication technologies comprise a complex and heterogeneous set of goods, applications, and services used to produce, distribute, process, and transfer information. They include the outputs of industries as diverse as telecommunications, television and radio broadcasting, computer hardware and software, computer services, and electronic media such as internet, emails, and computer games. So that is one definition for you of what ICTs are. And so remember that when we talk of ICTs, we are most of the time looking at applications and services. Okay? And we are not interested in hardware, we are not engineers. We deal mostly with software. And we academics deal with the theory behind the ideas, and we talk about methodology. That's what we do. So ICTs, to sum it, have become very important in development. And radio was used, as I said earlier, and then the television was used. The site experiment I was telling you about used television. Okay, but in the early days, as I was telling you in the earlier one, the radio and TV were used as part of the modernization model. They were used because they believed that people lacked information and we could give them information, or we could somehow change their attitudes. Okay? And the problem did not lie with the people's attitudes, though sometimes they do. Sometimes attitudes, negative attitudes may have a direct relationship by not performing a behavior because you have a negative attitude about it. That is true. But our behaviors cannot be described just based on our individual behaviors and I'm saying on our individual attitudes and awareness and stuff like that. There are external conditions that may be responsible for some of the things, and so some of the problems we have. So, for example, I was making fun of, you must have only 2 children. And I was kind of making a joke about it. I'll take that example and tell about the message is so simplistic. You're blasting messages at rural areas in the 1970s saying you shouldn't have more than 2 kids. And you think that these people are producing a lot of kids because they don't know, or because they have this negative mindset, They're not educated like us. They don't know what overpopulation is going to do. That is the mindset of the experts. And therefore we have to change their attitudes. Maybe that is not the main problem. Maybe the problem is infant mortality in rural areas is very high, which it is. One of the indicators of development is infant mortality at age 1 now. Many children die before they see their first birthday, which might be a shock to you and me who live in cities. Another indicator is infant mortality at age 5. Many kids die before they see their 5th birthday. So maybe these people, I don't know. There are no doctors in rural areas. There are no medicines available in rural areas. And if I go with your advice and have only 2 kids, and my bad luck, my kids die, then what am I going to do? Plus, because of lack of economic development, I have a lot of chores at home. I have things to be done at home. More kids, more maintenance. Yeah, more. These are socio-economic conditions. The government would find it very hard to change these because these require money. These require policies, right? And so all the time the problem was people, and forget. And about queuing in the bus, form a queue. In 1970s, I've seen, form a queue. And what is queue? They'll also tell us what a queue is. A queue is a straight line. Did you know that? A queue is a straight line. Okay, straight line. If I stand in the queue in Bangalore in the bus, no, I'll be in the queue till 9 o'clock in the night. I won't get into the bus. If I have to get into the bus, I have to break the queue. I have to come at you, push you aside. If possible, go under your legs. I follow the queue here many times, not for buses. I don't go by buses anymore. But in other places, even in airports, I've been trying to get my boarding pass, and suddenly one guy is in front of me. I do not know how he came. I'm a student of physics, and I believe that physical objects don't appear from thin air. I know that. How did this man appear? Anyway, things like that. So, people don't queue because you do not have enough buses. If you had enough buses, people will queue. If you've gone to Hong Kong is a fabulous city. I'm a number of people in that city, but their buses and their trains go like that. Every 3 seconds there's a metro. During rush hour. 3 seconds. 3 to 5. So, and by the way, there are straight line queues there. Lines. People will go and start line up, even before the train comes, because the carriage will come and stop exactly there. It's all completely driverless trains, electric. So, boom, 3 seconds, door opens. People exit, people get in. Door closed, go, 3 seconds. If we had buses every 5 minutes, people will queue. So there are other reasons. It's not just attitudes, all right? So this is, with 2 examples, I just wanted to make that clear for you. So under the modernization model, mass media were used, unfortunately, thinking that Eastern attitudes, values, religious values were the problem, okay? And basically, ICT for development replicated those biases, okay? So basically, put the fault back on the people. You are backward because of some of your attitudes, some of your lifestyle, some of this, some of that, rather than trying to find fault with the socio-economic conditions of the society. So it was basically a re-articulation of the modernization idea paradigm, okay?
Can you tell me what is
Yes.
What is the difference, like how in America, how people are really fast in the matter of technology? Why, if I see Indian point of view, socio-economically, it is very important. Like how in India, that condition, the situation is not in USA?
What, socio-economic condition?
No, in the point of view, socio-economic condition, you can see. Like in the matter of this content, they are so fast compared to Indians. So how it is?
No, let me understand. So are you talking about the socio-economic conditions on people in USA?
Yes. It is there.
Of course it's there. Of course it's there.
Even it is there, how people are really fast.
Fast?
Yes, in all the matter compared to India. Like what you said, the third world countries.
And you have to define what fast is, but socio-economic, Oh, that way. Yeah. I don't know what, okay. We will have to go into all kinds of indicators. First of all, they might be ahead in some areas, but they're actually behind in many other areas. So that's another topic that I'm not dealing with you. Certainly, whatever the reason is, it is not because they have some superior culture. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay? Because superstitions are there among them too. Do you know that if 13th falls on a Friday, half the offices are empty? 13th Friday is very bad luck. Do you know in many hotels in the West, including Singapore, the lift does not have a 13, number 13? From 12 you go to 14. That is a silly superstition. And it is the Westerners. We don't have a problem with 13 in India. Maybe we have problems with something else. A black cat went in front of me. What should I do? Should I go forward, backward? Anyway, so all I'm trying to say is that, and thank you for that question. What I'm trying to do is attack that basic premise. Let me give you, since he has asked the question, let me give you another example to show that it's not the culture that was holding the people down, maybe it was something else. The same Indians, whether they were Muslims or whether they were Hindus, when they migrated to East Africa, they became the richest people in those countries through their hard work. Indians in Kenya, Indians in Uganda, Indians in South Africa, they didn't give up their religion. In fact, once they went out of India, they became more conservative in their respective religions. Japan is as modern as any of the Western country, but Japan is completely traditional. So it's not. Chinese, when they left China and when moved to countries like Singapore and Malaysia and Hong Kong, richest and the most hardworking, they didn't give up their religion, Confucianism and other beliefs. So there's a lot of problem with that theory. All I'm saying is they were going after the wrong targets. So, and I want to jump over and give another point of view here. ICTs also helped developing countries in a very important way. Take the telephone. In the 1970s, when I used to live in India, unless your dad or your mom or somebody in your family was an IAS officer or a big businessman, chances of a phone in your house, was rare. It took an average of 5 years in Bangalore to get a phone. And that too, if you're lucky. Okay? 5 years to get a phone. And I don't think we could have ever reached a situation that today, everybody, I'm sure most of you here have a phone in your bag or in your pocket. I have two actually. Okay. That's very good. Because India could not have wired every house. It's very expensive to wire houses. Landline would not have been possible. That was part of the reason why government did not want to, they thought that telephone is a toy of the rich. And of course, we are now benefiting from wireless technology and Wi-Fi technology, and so that has helped us to leapfrog different stages of development, as the point I made here. Jump straight from no telephone to everybody having one telephone in their pocket, and not having to put wires. Okay. Moving along then, can we move on to the next one? What are ICTs? ICTs may be described as electronic means of capturing, processing, storing, and communicating information. And today our technologies are digital. As opposed to the older technologies like radio and TV, which were digital. What's other than digital? Analog. Analog. Okay? So we have moved from analog now almost completely to digital. What does the digital signal look like? Zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. And so zeros and ones, and it all has so many bits, megabytes, so many bytes, kilobyte, and so on and so forth. And analog, on the other hand, is converting sound into electricity, and then sending it to electromagnetic waves, and then converting it back into electricity, and then converting it back to sound. Same with shadow and light in the case of TV. Okay, so today digital technologies, as you all know, internet, satellite, phones, mobile phones, satellite dishes, all of these are examples of, and laptops and computers, okay? And ICTs today connect all of us in this world, the globe, in a web of connections. That's why we call it as globalization. We are so tightly bound. We are all connected in so many ways across the world, and all kinds of real-time interactions and transactions. And ICTs have proliferated all around the world, even if you don't like it. There is very little you can do about it. Actually, we all like it. Imagine your life without your phone. Terrible, no? That's how we spend our youth. Okay, here is some data. This is dated actually. This is only recent till about 2013. Mobile phone subscriptions around the world have reached 6.8 billion in 2013. And the world population is about 7 billion, actually global. So almost one phone per person on this earth. So that's the 100% penetration. Of course, that doesn't mean everybody has a phone. Some people have more phones, like me. Between the years of 2006 and 2013, internet access has gone from 360 million homes in the world to 750 million homes, double, in a matter of 7 years. And we have a total of 1.8 billion houses in the world. And so that's 750 out of 1.8 in 2013 is a pretty big number. Internet users went from 1.15 billion to 2.27 billion in between 2006 and 11. That's an increase of 97%. Another big thing on which the quality of our life will depend is broadband. Broadband. And what is broadband? Broadband are basically channels that can carry very dense information quickly. So you can buffer, you can see a movie on your TV without it buffering. Okay? And so broadband is the last, at least right now, we need good broadband. And that has gone from, broadband subscriptions have gone from 268 million to over 2 billion, almost 10 times between 2007 and 13. And the speed with which you get stuff, and today we want greater and greater speed. It went from high-speed internet from 11,000 gigabits in 2006 to 80,000 gigabits in 2011. Now, of course, it is like 150 gigabits, Mbps, that's Mbps, how fast your signal is. That is basically, and the trajectory is only going up. So digital technologies have immense power. They have proliferated all over the world. And they are the iconic symbols of globalization. Globalization, on the one hand, is a concept, but on the other hand, it is actually real. Globalization is where we are wired up, we are all connected. Each one of us are connected through our technologies. Our banks are connected. Everything is connected. Your weatherman, at 6 o'clock today will tell you tomorrow it's going to rain in Bangalore. Okay, how do they know? Because they are collecting data, and data says moist air plus dry air plus this wind plus that wind will lead to rain. So we basically. And if you know that this whole area is going to rain, then you're going to take precaution. So basically then, everything is connected. That's basically, and at the center of this are media. And I'm not talking again of information transfer. Banks, a bank, you can leave Bangalore and tomorrow take a flight and go to Delhi, and you can still put your ATM card in your favorite bank's ATM machine, and if there is money in your account, you can still pull out money, right? That's globalization for you. Your money is there everywhere, and it doesn't matter where. So similarly, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking of a different kind of communication. I'm talking about cultural communication. I'm not talking of transfer. I'm talking about your TV networks, your radios, the messages that come out, and so ICTs are iconic symbols of the present globalized world. ICTs have a lot of good applications, a lot of development applications. ICTs can do a very good job. Okay, they can individualize instruction. You can adapt them for more individual kinds of situations. They have been used in agriculture, they have been used in medicine, they have been used in marketing, and all of that. So generally we all seem to be quite happy. We seem to be quite happy with our technologies, and certainly whether we are happy or not, we have all dived very well, and we are lapping up all the stuff that ICTs are able to provide us. Okay, and so they do play a very what role do they play in our lives? They play a very, very important role in our lives. Now let me get critical. That's my job. That's why I get paid, to poke your pain a little bit and make you smell the coffee. Right? The medium is the message. Have you heard this? McLuhan. Anyone knows what McLuhan meant? And he said that the medium is the message. Marshall McLuhan.